Well, here's a surprising headline. Used electric car prices plummet as Chinese brands flood UK market with cheaper alternatives. Blimey. This is by Hema Visavadia, published 29th of 12th, 2025. Second-hand electric vehicles have dropped in price by £14,000 in the past 3 years. Used electric car prices have collapsed following a wave of cheap Chinese vehicles flooding the UK market, slashing thousands off the cost of going electric. The average price of a second-hand electric vehicle has fallen by a staggering £14,000 in just 3 years, according to new figures from online car retailer Cazoo. Are they still retailing cars? I thought they were finished now. Used EVs, which once cost around £39,000, now sell for closer to £25,000, with prices expected to fall even further as more Chinese-made cars enter the UK and early buyers trade up. No, that's not the reason at all. The reason is that they're discounting brand new ones. That's why the used ones have dropped. If they weren't discounting brand new ones so much, the used ones wouldn't drop. They're bringing it on themselves. So whoever's interpreted this story, again, needs to find a different job. Or perhaps report on something they know about. The rapid growth of affordable brands such as BYD and JQ, getting them in again, aren't they, has been transforming the used car market, turning electric vehicles from a premium product into something far more attainable for ordinary drivers. Why do they always mention these Chinese vehicles? You know, why do they have to in these stories? Cazoo has now predicted that average second-hand EV prices could drop to £20,000 within the next year as supply continues to surge and competition intensifies. Much of that supply is being driven by Chinese manufacturers, which have expanded aggressively across the UK with cheaper models packed with technology. Now you see, I look at it differently. I look at the Chinese vehicles sent over here. Our government hasn't had the sense to put tariffs on them. They've undercut the legacy manufacturers, basically bought customers. For every customer that a Chinese vehicle has taken from the legacy vehicle manufacturers, it makes it even worse when, in order to get the ZEV mandate target, the legacy manufacturers have to buy carbon credits off the Chinese who have sold all these EVs. So effectively, every Chinese vehicle that's sold, in my eyes, the legacy manufacturers are having to pay them 12 grand as well. Here, well done, boys. Here's another 12 grand out of our profits, because the British government hasn't got the sense to put tariffs on Chinese EVs. And then you've got all people like this bigging them up at every opportunity. I went on LinkedIn this morning and that chap from Parker's Guide gone on about another Chinese car that's absolutely fantastic. They may be absolutely fantastic, but let's have a level playing field. If you're going to tax, or if you're going to charge the legacy motor manufacturers 12 grand for missing the mandate, what about putting a carbon tax on the Chinese for their vehicles that are coming in and being shipped across the world? Because they don't get carbon neutral as quick as a legacy car does. So why are those people having to buy carbon credits off them? No, all wrong. Lucy Tugby from Cazoo told the Telegraph, Lucy Tugby, whoever heard that name before? We expect to see more Chinese EVs than the likes of BYD start to make their way to the second-hand market, as early adopters of these vehicles a couple of years ago upgrade to newer models. Lucy Tugby. As these brands continue their aggressive expansion in the UK, we will see them gain more of a share of both the new and second-hand market in the coming years. The shift is also changing attitudes amongst buyers. Traditional brand loyalty, often referred to in the industry as badge snobbery, appears to be fading fast. Cazoo's research revealed that 6 out of 10 British motorists would now consider buying a Chinese electric car, even though awareness of the brands themselves remains surprisingly low. Well, that is surprising with all you lot dropping the names at every opportunity. Only 4 out of 10 people recognise BYD, while just 12% have heard of JACU. BYD and JACU again. The disconnect suggested buyers are being driven less by brand names and more by price, range and technology, experts explained. Ms. Tugby said, EV buyers tend to be far more technology-led rather than brand-led, especially amongst younger drivers, and these new brands can offer huge savings. No, they can't. Also, the more stuff there is in a car, the more there is to go wrong, and the sooner it will meet its end of life. The growing availability of used electric cars has also been found to be narrowing the price gap between EVs and petrol vehicles. Second-hand electric cars are now around 44% more expensive than petrol models. Rubbish. Absolute crap. Down from almost double that figure just 2 years ago. Last month, the average used petrol car cost £16,356, having fallen by just £800 over 3 years. In contrast, EV prices have dropped sharply, whilst listings for used electric vehicles have surged by 50%. They've surged by a lot more than that in the past year alone. If you take into account all the various colours available adverts, they're a lot more than that. Greater supply has also been boosted by manufacturers such as Tesla, which have improved their trade-in and resale operations, increasing the flow of nearly new electric cars onto the market. Cazoo stated the fall in prices could mark a turning point for electric vehicle adoption, with Ms. Tugby suggesting 2026 could be a breakthrough year. We've been saying that for the past 5 years. As EVs approach price parity with petrol cars, just look on the private to trade auction sites, see how many people are getting rid of their EVs after a few weeks. Electric vehicles currently make up around 20% of new car sales, but account for less than 5% of cars on Britain's roads, highlighting the importance of the used market in driving wider adoption. There are also concerns about the long-term costs of replacing batteries in older vehicles, which Cazoo said has weighed on prices. Failed car dealer Cazoo will pay a huge tax bill, but still owes nearly £76 million to creditors. They're probably not the best people to comment on the car industry, are they? Let me just see as well. Lucy Tugby. Wasn't she something to do with, was it eBay or Motors? Lucy Tugby. Lucy Tugby, Marketing Directors, Motors. Oh well, looks like she's with Cazoo now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.